And then Morpheus says when he goes to tell him, he's Oracle told me, and he goes, she told you exactly what you needed to hear.
Let's see here. All right. You want to tune into the stream real quick so I can show you what I got?
Uh,
It's
sure.
not it's
I'll
not
pop it up on my
major.
phone.
It's pretty minor, but it's actually kind
I
of
mean,
major
it's
for me.
something. Okay, I see you loading into
Oh shit, I need to
fuck, do you
not
flip
full
it?
screen. I need to
How
not
do you
full
flip
screen this.
portrait? Can you not flip portrait on Twitch?
You can.
There we go. All right.
All right, let's see what we got here. So basically, if we go in memory, view, I still have it on my clipboard, I do. So basically, um, in the code here, so this is the Smash Remix repo. So
Okay.
in the item ASM file, I'm setting up this variable called item spawn flag, and at first I'm just writing 69 to it in decimal form,
Okay.
which is hex 45.
DW. What does DW stand for?
DW is a something right in assembly. So it basically writes 60. This interprets it as create
Okay.
a label in memory, reserve at this point in the program, reserve the next available memory slot, and write 69 to it. And
Okay.
then this is a scope, and I'm learning this stuff as I go. That this is kind of the magic right here. Is this is a like a method that that Remix has to basically, when the stack pointer gets to a certain address, it will allow us to hook into that and write a custom routine. So I took this
So is
from
that
the
the
taunt.
address memory in the brackets?
Yeah, this is and I'm not 100% sure on how this works, but this is the address that exists in the ROM, in the file, right? And then here's where it gets loaded into in memory, I believe. And then JAL is jump and link, the update flag function, which starts after this right here. And we load
Not the action link is what you said. JAL
is jump and link, yeah. So it says, okay, jump and link at this point in memory to this right here. So that basically says run this and then take the return address and execute it after this is done. So I'm not sure what these do. Original Line 1 player, this is just what, if you go into the taunt item scope here.
Okay.
So it's doing, this is, I'm just following this pattern, right? Fetch, or a patch start at this address, and I'm doing the same thing. So for whatever reason, and I'm not sure exactly how they figured this out, but this address in memory gets run, the instruction set gets run whenever the L button is pressed in burst mode, right? So here's where I originally got that from.
So it's gonna pull that address has a set of actions to it,
So
even
when
if
the
it's just
when the
color and
stack
pixels on the
when the
screen.
when the stack pointer, which is like the environment, right, the program,
Mm-hmm.
gets to this address, run this block right here essentially. So update flag gets defined here in our scope, and it just, this is the part that executes what we're doing. So basically, allocate space on the stack. So you're in assembly, you're directly manipulating and managing the state. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
allocate X amount of bits. I guess that's whatever that translates to in decimal. That's how many bits we need, or bytes. Save whatever's in the
Negative
T0,
zero.
in the T0 and the T1 register, because we're going to manipulate those, and we need to allow the program to resume from where it left off, right? So we're basically like, see how it's top to bottom? we're gonna like say, okay, the pointer's gonna get to this address, and then it's gonna run this code, which points to this right here. So the T0, T1 registers, those are registers built into assembly, and that's how you get access to the to very fast memory that can be accessed directly from the processor. Then we load the address of this label, right? Which basically the assembly automatically will say, okay, whatever address is available at this point in the program, assign it to this label. So we're basically loading the address of whatever this is, and then we're getting the value from that address, or excuse me, we're setting the value of whatever address this is to this right here, which is just a test value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in hex. And then we save that value to T1, which is the address of store the test value. So this actually writes it to memory, right? And then when we're done with that,
SW does.
Right, yeah. I think it stands for store word. Is what that stands for. And basically we're saying, okay, write this right here into the T1 register, and that's why we save it right here, is because we you
said T1 are addresses the processor can quickly access.
To the best of my knowledge, they're called registers. Yeah, and that's like that's not actually written to memory, so it's not available in RAM. It's on the actual processor side of things. And then we deallocate the space that we just used, so it frees that space back up to be used again, and then returns the next instruction. So this is what does that, and then this is a something to do with the delay timer. Is nope. So it's very confusing, but loosely that's what it is. And basically what that allows us is we can see, oh, this actually ran. This is interesting. Okay. So I'm not sure why that ran. See how this I'm basically looking at the memory at this address right here. How did I get this address? Well,
are those the T's? So would 00 be
those aren't the shift registers. No, this is the address in memory associated to my new item spawn flag, right? So when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gets run, we're basically saying that this line right here got ran. The reason that's important to me is because it allows me to verify that this is working, right? That I'm actually able to hook into the program at this address and run
what line of code is that?
What line of code is what?
So when line 2598 runs, you have the T1 0x 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8.
We have so basically.
So you put that in there, whatever line. So that will pop up because that's like it's random enough, so where like you wouldn't have another bit of memory in it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is like a to use as like a test address. So you can put that in anywhere to test to see if your previous.
It's just a hex value. This is not an address. This is a hex
value. But it sets that. It puts that hex value where?
Well, what it does first is it loads the address, which is this right here. So you can see. So this is the log file that outputs from running the BAS the patch file, which basically runs the assembly compiler, right? And it sets a flag to let you know what each item, each label, what memory address it got assigned, right? So in the item scope, this is how scopes work apparently. You can use dot notation. So item spawn flag on the item scope is assigned this address in memory. And the reason for that is because this is the address that was available when this line ran. Right? When this line ran right here, that's the address.
80446B44?
Yeah. That's the address.
Is that an address? Okay.
Yes, that's the address that exists, that is associated to this label or variable, whatever you want to call it. I think they're called labels.
So go back to the list of the addresses and lines. The little window you had. Sorry, there might be a delay. So under item spawn flag, scroll down. So I can't see it.
This is showing. This is the output for all the items that are getting allocated memory space, right?
So, but what I'm asking is, is the next line. No, go down. So item update flag. Is that what the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is?
So item update
Like, is that
flag, item update flag. So this is a nested scope. So the parent scope here is right here, scope item. That's where that's getting from, and then the nested scope is our update flag right here. So you can access that by including this module or file or whatever,
item
and then
spawn
calling
item?
item flag, and that gets written to memory just like our item flag here does. This is just different. This is a way to keep the code encapsulated to what we're trying to do here, and this is just for testing
The OS
purposes
patch.
to make sure that I can to make sure that I can manipulate to make sure that I can manipulate memory at a specific time, and if I can do that, then okay, we've got to start. So basically, right. I think it must the taunt must be fired here, and that's what's changing the value. But if we end emulation and then open the
you're
ROM
saying
back
you're saying the taunt is getting fired within the tutorial there?
I'm guessing because the initial value is 45, which is the hex equivalent of 69 in decimal form, right? And that's just some static value that I put there to just show that, hey, this.
Did you choose 69 because it's like a funny thing, or is that
it's just like a funny thing? Yeah, it could have any 32-bit value. So the initial value is 45, and that's why I set it that. It's different than this down here. Because if this gets changed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then we know that this line ran, specifically this line right here, right? We load the address of the item spawn flag into the T0 register. We load into the T1 register. We load this value. We load whatever is in the T1 register into the value. So this is like the 0 offset pointer space for whatever address is stored here, which we're getting right here. So I'm starting to understand that, right? Very loosely still, but basically what this allows me to do is, okay, now we've got our own object in memory that we can change the value, or we can monitor it, right? So if we go to Naverse,
so do you have a list that shows the registries?
It's an assembly thing. So there's T0, T1, T1, T2, T3. I think, and then there's R0. There's different registers that are used for different things, and basically, instead of you have to think of it as writing these values in a common place that the routine can look for on the processor or in memory and execute it at another time. That's how it works.
Here's how I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm going too far back, but essentially what the Nintendo needs and every computer needs is I don't know, the way I think about it is like a big list, right? A big database of every single possible action that can happen, right? Whether because it's it's binaries is zeros and ones, which is on and off switches, right? And then assembly is.
Are you watching this?
Beyond
value?
that.
Watch this value here. When I spawn into a game and I hit the taunt button. See, I just pressed the taunt button. See how he just did the taunt animation, and then you saw this value change, not to a random value, to a specific value that this instruction set.
So your taunt, changed. So what is 00 and 04 and so on and so forth? What is that?
What do you mean?
These are
the next 4 offset. This is the next offset here. This is what the value is, and then the next offset.
Okay, so
of 08, 0C, and then that gets into, different positions in memory. But at 00 at this memory address, we can see this value, and that's written here. So and that it worked specifically at that time because we saw that it got initialized with this value, right? So we saw that this was working. So we're doing that correctly because we can see this memory address in the memory viewer in Project 64. And then what we're doing is we're using this Smash Remix.
So where does I didn't see the 69. I saw the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's the 69 is in decimal form here, right? I could do 0x45, right? And that should be the same, I think. But oops. But I just did this because it's easy to see that it's 69, right? And it's like, okay, that's a deliberate, intentional number, right?
Just to see it in the code.
Just to see it in the code. And the hex version of that, the hexadecimal version of 69 is 45. So if we set this back to its original value that got set here, right, we will see that that value won't change again until this instruction set runs. And we've pinpointed that this instruction set runs only when this address gets loaded into memory, or when the stack pointer is at this point in memory, I should say, right?
So that's going to be when the taunt instruction is run.
When however they found okay, this address is what gets invoked when the taunt mechanism is fired in the game, right?
Right.
So now I'll play the game, right? We're fighting, it's not changing, right? Still not changing. Okay, it just changed. How did it change? How do we know that it didn't just change randomly and that we controlled it actually changing?
Because you changed the hexadecimal value to something that would be, to a human, like, significant.
This changing from 45 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 proves that this line is getting run right here, and it's getting run as we expect it, which is when this.
But you can set that.
You
can set that number to whatever you want, though, right? The T1.
Right, and then what I'm going to do here is this is just a proof of concept to basically be able to hook into the game state when we want to, right? And
you could set it to 69, 69, 69.
Yeah, any 32-bit value. 69. Any 32-bit value. So, yeah, whatever that would be. That's
as long as it has 10 points of decimal in it.
Well, however that translates works. I don't know how hex actually translates, but I know you can look. So each register can only hold 32 bits.
Oh, because that's what isn't that what the 0 time or negative 0 times 10 was?
This is basically taking memory space away. So it's saying, okay, I'm going to allocate 10 bits or whatever that would be, right, on the stack. That's what this line does here. So SP means stack pointer, and then this is the opcode. This takes the 2 parameters here, which are both the stack pointer, and then this takes a value. So if we're taking space away, if it's a negative value, we're taking space away from the stack, which frees up the ability for us to write stuff to memory with this much space
it just
allocated. And
more or less lets go of that amount of space.
Yeah. It frees up.
It stops holding it.
Zero out this amount of memory on the stack right now, right? And then we deallocate the space again. So
something could be
the
there.
space that we just used, see how it's not negative? We're adding now to the stack trace whatever needs to be available, so that the footprint of our function here doesn't just continue to occupy memory. And if these registers are left the wrong value, then the subsequent instruction set after our hook here could potentially not work. So we have to preserve the state of the environment by saving these registers values, and then by restoring them. So T0 and T1, we restore their original values, right? That we kept
if the code fails
at these addresses, at these offsets, based at the current stack pointer, and then we say, okay, take it away now. Restore it to open it back up, right? It's no longer allocated for our instruction.
And then it's going to put, so if it fails, it puts what was in there before back in there.
If what fails?
If the next code doesn't run, or fails to, isn't that what you're saying?
Any number of things could happen. It could cause the emulator to crash. It could cause that instruction set to not run correctly, but the emulator doesn't crash, right? Where the shift registers are a temporary storage location for these routines to be able to set and read parameters off of for other routines to carry out.
Is temporary storage, would that be on the N64 itself?
In memory, yeah. So there's ROM, read-only memory, which is the file, right? That's the Smash
in the
64.
cartridge.
Right, that's the cartridge essentially, yeah. And then there's RAM, which is random access
which,
memory, which we have
which would
access
be in
to in
N64.
right. It's not going to change the read-only memory of the file, but
Hmm.
that all the chips and everything have power. It means that we have a virtual space to be able to manipulate memory. So you can write to it, you can read to it, but the ROM will stay unchanged. So if you turn everything
Right.
off, drain all the values from all the places in memory, and reload it again, once everything gets power, it goes through instructions of loading what's in the ROM into memory, and part of that includes instructions to like actually execute the game code and shit.
Hmm.
So all I'm doing is like I'm just trying to hook into an existing pattern that I'm seeing, and so now what I can do is okay. So check this out. You'll like this. Let me get the address. So we what was really exciting for us was finding the taunt item spawn,
Yeah.
which is not a native function. It's a Smash remix. It's a ROM
Hmm.
hack, right?
And it also gives us something that we can control from the controller to say, okay, this is something we want to happen. We want to replicate a lot of this
Correct.
functionality. So the functionality that we want is already written.
Correct. So we can go to. For some reason, these are in the hazards namespace. I don't know why. But
Okay.
now we know the hex value for a beam sword, home run bat, fan, all this shit, right? So
Okay.
now we can find correlation between this. So let's check this out. Instead of looking at the actual memory address, we need to find the address in memory because I don't know where the address in memory that is going to be, but I know what the value would be. So taunt item is beam sword right now. So whatever value is holding taunt sword is going to, or whatever address is holding taunt sword, or the beam sword in that space is hex 7. So if we go, okay, I need the exact value in hex. This right here, this memory range is probably everything we need. Okay, there are 30,000 locations in memory that have that address. So this is what the memory like tool does, right? Is we can limit it. So let's change it again and say, okay, of these values, which one is now the home run bat, which is hex 8? And that's going to narrow it down quite a bit. It narrowed it down to 135. See, there's other values that are changing right here without us doing anything in the game. So these are other routines that are changing, not based on our input here.
Right.
Right? So 135, let's narrow it down again. Bam. Okay, of those values, which one is now hex 9? Uh-oh. We goofed up. So fan should be hex 9. Alright, we gotta start that over. I'm not sure what happened there. Star Rod, but you can see kind of what I'm doing, right? Is that we're able to say, okay, we know these are the IDs, which is the value of these items, and we know that these are going to be correlated to something in the game. So 3.
Mm-hmm.
See, but they're changing, so that's not right. Something might not be going on here. I might be doing something wrong, because one of these shouldn't be changing.
Well, go to Smash Bros.
So let's go to ray gun. Hang on, let's try this. Reset. Hex.
Because I wonder if after a while, if what you see is changing is potentially the arrows. See how the arrows are blinking back and forth on
25, but they're all seemingly changing. Except for maybe this one. So let's add this to the watch list. Let's see if this...
Looks like they're all changing.
They did change, okay.
Every one of them's changing, yeah. Some are just changing quicker than others.
Okay, we may have found it. Okay, so now we have this address saved in memory. So if we change this, and it is this address in memory, we should see the value change. Which it does not. So that's not it. Damn, I just had this figured out last night. Start over with B. Well, let's try something a little different. Let's try the golden gun. Oh, wait. I'm doing the wrong thing. Fucking A. I'm silly. This is the actual. This is the index or whatever that we need. This is the constant. Yeah, I think I fucked that up. Okay. Hex
So is
exact value.
0x01 a registry?
0x01 is just a hex value.
Okay. So that hex value is in here in assembly. We're setting it to something that can be plainly read by us, but the hex value is what the computer reads.
It's how we're able to there's a certain amount of there's a certain amount of transistors that this chip has, that this architecture has, which means that it's limited by how many pieces of information it can store at one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how we, manipulate that and use that is by hexadecimal references. And I don't know exactly why that is, or what the reasoning for it is, other than that's just that's how it works. So my knowledge of the theory of it is pretty limited, but I think that's at least a decent way to go about it. Okay, so let's change it now to home run bat. Okay, 140. Now let's change it to fan, which is hex 3. Hex 3 is fan. Search. Okay, we've got 8, and only one of them is not changing. See that? You with me so far? So now if we change fan, this should go up by one position. So it should go to hex 4, which it does. Okay. So now,
but that's
set it to none.
so what that
0.
So what that is, so what that address is it's the taunt item list.
Correct. Yeah, it's what's set. If you read this code here, this start with table shows. Okay, here's all the items that you can have on this that you could taunt to, and then if you continue to read the code, you'll see kind of a little bit of how that works. And that's how I got to this point, right? So now I'll press taunt. Nothing spawns, right? So now let's say I wanted to spawn a ray gun. I set that value. Did it not work? Or the
Yeah, I don't think it will work.
X11. Maybe since I set it to none, that could be, since I set it to none initially, when it loaded into the game, that could be why. Let's try 0, 1. It could be because I loaded into the game with it set to none, so that could have set another value elsewhere that said, okay, don't spawn in with anything, don't let them spawn anything, right? I haven't tested that. When I tested this, I think I went in with something set, and then I was able to change it, which isn't as impressive, you know what I mean? But oh look, it's beam sword because I put it to value 1. So now if we start the round. Now, if we start the round, obviously I should get a beam sword, but then I should be able to change it so I can get different items if I want to. Oh no, it's not working. It's not working.
Yeah, I think that list is going to be separate than what.
No, the reason it's not working is because of this. Is because I'm hooking into it and we're fucking it up here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna patch the ROM again. Oh fuck, I can't do it from that one. So patch the ROM again, because I took that out because we were hooking into that, so we were preventing something from being run correctly, which is good to know. Okay, everything's good. Let's go ahead and restart the emulator. Oops. I don't know if I have to end emulation first. That's just what I've been doing.
Seems like a safer route.
Do. Okay. So I'll have this set up in memory. Because that address shouldn't change because it it doesn't change. It's a virtual address that's guaranteed to be the same because that's how it compiled, I think. So I don't think that address should change. So let's see if... Okay, we go here, here. Oops. Taunt item, none. All right, let's try spawning in with it being none, and then let's change it.
No. Change it first here.
No.
Because you haven't done that yet.
Trust me. Let's try it. We can try it both ways. Uh-oh. That was weird. I don't know if that was the controller fuck up or... Alright. Spawn. Or, taunt? No item. Change this to... Change this to Beam Sword. Which is, Hex 1. Okay. Let me know when you saw that.
Okay.
You saw that?
Okay.
X2, which should be baseball bat, right? Home run bat. But I have to throw this because there's a check here that if the player struct has an item, it's already carrying an item, to not spawn it again. So that's to prevent probably the game from crashing. So let's throw this away. Now I have a baseball bat. Change it back to 0. Throw the bat at this little fucker. Spawn, or taunt. It doesn't spawn anything. So that's pretty fucking sick, right?
So hold on. So because the bat is still on the screen.
The bat is still on the screen.
It didn't spawn another one. But if it's set, if you set the taunt.
I set it to 0. Watch, if I set it to 1 and I keep spawning them, the only thing that'll prevent it from spawning is if I'm holding it, or if there's a maximum.
If there's a maximum amount on the screen, yeah.
There is, yeah. Oh, I set it to 1, which is Beam Sword, right? But that
okay.
Look, I can just spawn as many as I want. Well, not as many as I want. There's going to be a limit here, right? So
okay.
there's 3, 4, I think.
But I mean, that's
5.
not the limitation we care about.
No. Because
so,
I mean,
so we know for sure that address 80446527 is the spot in memory in which the item will be held.
Well, if you read the code, basically what happens in the menu selection is this value gets set. There's instructions that write to this address, and it writes the different values based on what you're selecting, and it shows here what they can be, right? Does that make sense? It can also be a random item too. But what I did was I reverse engineered how that works. So this is getting written. These values are getting written. One value is getting written to a specific place in memory, and if there's a hook that's set up here, which is taunt spawn item, so sets it to a total of 4 bytes, 1 for each player. So each player can have a separate can have an item here for them, right? So like I could have Beam Sword, you could have Home Run Bat, third player could have something different, fourth player could have something different. I figured out that's how that is. And then this scope right here gets hooked in.
I'd be curious to see if the hazards is in the original Super Smash Bros. ASM file.
So basically the allocation there's a file, there's a add item. I think it's actually at the top of this file. Allows the addition of custom items. So basically what this does is it very intentionally adds to the table of original items, right? And then there's this thing called a macro that they set up to add a custom item, and it has everything like that it needs. Hang on, Daisy's calling me. Hello, I'm on stream and you're on speaker, by the way.
Oh, okay. Did you want something?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll just take the.
like super super chill, and it was just nice to chat with everybody for once without like any drama.
Nice. We like no drama.
Melissa, so yeah,
Can I ask you questions, or you need to be on the phone?
Maybe on the
about
phone.
like how
Okay.
everything out.
Alright,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
a
watch the
bitch.
Matrix then.
She's in for a fucking. She's in for a rough ride, unfortunately.
She's in a depressed state right now.
It's all right. She'll be okay.
She's just like we were talking about it and stuff, and she's like, it's not that I don't think I can do it, it's just that it's being forced on me versus if you like want me to do it.
Well.
And I'm like, I get that. I do.
It's life in the big city. I mean, fuck. Nobody asks to get celiac. That's just how it works. You know what I mean?
I know, but she was kind of getting a little upset because at first my son was like, well, she's like be on keto, but like it gets easier to she's like, I get it. And she's like, I'm not disagreeing with you. She's like, it's just frustrating because like you wanted to do keto. I don't want to do this. Like it's being forced on me.
It's yeah. I get it. I get it. I mean, that's a piss poor mentality to have. I mean, that's just. I mean, what is that gonna get her? You know what I mean?
I know. I don't think it's gonna take forever. It's not her mode right now.
No, I get that. It's a piss off when you can't just go and eat anything nilly willy. Yeah, it's a big piss off. I still can't have fucking hardly anything. It sucks. But it is what it is. Just be thankful it's not fucking something actually, you know, debilitating. Like, you can work around celiac. There's millions of people that have celiac. You know what I mean?
Selfishly, I'm excited that somebody else in the family has it because I feel like the family in general for like
Well, it forces everybody to be at least a little more educated about shit. Because if you're not if you're going to expect me to come and eat, you've got to accommodate my limitations. It's not a preference, it's a limitation. I can't control the fact that I can't digest fucked up wheat. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not like being a vegan where it's like, oh, I watched a documentary on Netflix and now I'm gonna try to do the right thing by not eating beef or whatever. It's not like that. That's annoying. You know what I mean? That's something you can do something about.
Yeah, no, but it was funny because she was like, yeah, she's like, I had no concept of like how much stuff it actually is. She's like, I can't buy anything. And I'm like, yeah, so like, even today, like we have Mexican food, which is one of the easiest, I feel, wouldn't you say, to be gluten free. So we're going through because my cousin was making like we had all kinds of different things that we do tacos, nachos, and stuff, right? She was using the like shredded cheese, and my grandma was trying to get her to use the melted cheese, like the nacho cheese, and I'm like, no, she can't eat that. Like she cannot eat that. That's what we have wheat in it. And she's like, well, why would cheese have wheat in it? I was like, well, they do it to thicken it up because it's like a
Read the ingredients. Yeah.
those are the ingredients. And she's like, well, I wouldn't think that it would be in that. And I'm like, well, I know.
It's in everything. And then wait until she finds out about seed oils and shit. Then she'll really get pissed. Because if she cuts out wheat, that'll definitely help, but the seed oils are very inflammatory still, and that's what celiac is. It's an autoimmune disorder.
Yeah. Well, she had an endoscopy, and that's how they determined that that like was the final straw from them determining that she has it.
Yeah, it's a weird disease. They don't really know why. Well, they know why. I mean, we know why. Maybe the reason they're not so adamant about diagnosing it is because it would draw more attention to the fucked up agriculture that we're exposed to.
For one, we got the like grain and then ground it. If that was the difference, and so she got it from like overseas.
It's got to be the glyphosate. I'm fucking convinced of it. Because glyphosate, I'm pretty sure, is banned in most, if not all, of EU. And people with celiac have said, yeah, I can eat pasta and bread and shit in Italy, and I'm fine.
No problem. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's not really... When you think of Italy, you think of a fuckload of pasta, right? But you don't really think of fat people. You know what I mean? I don't know what the obesity rate is for Italians. I guarantee you it's lower than America is, though.
When when I was in Croatia, that's all MSC serves. Like, pasta, bread, the pastries, like,
Yeah.
what do you want from,
You're not getting my Discord message?
Now let me see. Hang on.
Told you to send me a message when you were done.
or did you want something else?
There's nothing else. Anything else, fine. Send me a message when you're done.
No, that is pretty big. So now you know what address that is, and now we can change it from.
Hang on one second. I got two people talking to me. Daisy, do you need anything else from me?
Just send me what you want from In-N-Out.
All right, I'll send it to you right now. Thank you.
Alright, I'll eat them.
Okay, bye.
Alright, bye.
All right, I'm back, Bob.
So no, that is pretty big. Now we have an address that we know for sure that we can manipulate and get out of it what it is we want. Now, have you tried it across different stages?
Hang on one second. Fuck, I've eaten In-N-Out twice this month. That's not good.
I got bird call for dinner last night and Chipotle for dinner tonight.
This fucking sucks, dude. Okay, I'm sorry, dude. Say that again. Say what you wanted. Say what you were saying again.
So have you tried it on different maps, and have you tried it with different characters?
Yeah. I have, but we can definitely try it. You know what I mean? Now.
So, and the same
another
address
thing,
works.
the next thing that would be what we need to do is, since Project 64 with NetPlay doesn't have the memory and the debugger tools and shit, could I write to this address through other means and have it just work in NetPlay? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you would have to inject it into NetPlay somehow, and that's how
I think
emulators would get it.
I think how it's gonna work is it compares the states of both games and is constantly updating the states across the network. Oh, let me try a different map.
The next step would be we need to see what functions and stuff like that are being run in NetPlay.
Well, let's get it working locally first, and I wouldn't be surprised if it just fucking worked. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised
Because you're saying the NetPlay is looking for changes on both emulators, and when it detects a change, it will implement it first before it gets sent out.
Yeah, it writes out, it does whatever it needs to say, okay, this this instruction just ran. Check to see if the other emulator has that instruction that's run. If not, have it run.
Do a taunt. See if you can load a.
Oh yeah.
Now change it to something else.
I'll change it to a blue shell. Basically, it's writing these indexes, I'm pretty sure, to this label, and then it's basically saying if any of those are set, when the taunt happens, execute this instruction set, which ultimately leads to this line getting run. This is where I ultimately
Sorry.
found.
So DW0x0s, that sets it to nothing. Right? That would essentially be setting it to none.
Well, it's setting the different values in memory that it can be, right? Or that are available. And then if any of them are set, it's a comparison. So it's saying, okay, if of the ones that are available, if this one's set, then, you know what I mean? This is the index of the item, and then see here's the different, they have these scopes set up for like beam sword, item info array. This is gonna have like different instructions and maybe even routines that control the animation and stuff like that. Spawn item. This is another important part of the spawn procedure for the beam sword. And then here's the ID that it's set, and it's just one bit more than the previous one. So that's how I was able to get to that point. And then now let's go to blue shell, or let's go to.
You didn't necessarily answer my question. In the list, the red list
It's
of the
setting.
hazards,
Yeah, and this is setting.
because one value has to equal none, and that would be the first one, right? Zero
So
x zero 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 zero
start
zero.
with table. It's basically saying, here are different IDs that can be on this address in memory. Start with table, right?
Okay.
If it's a 0, 0 means that there's no item. If it's a beam sword, it's gonna grab this scope, and that's how it's able to function. And if we go down a little further, start with item. See how it says start with table, start with item. So now, from the items that are available here from the menu, set it up so that one of these values can be written to this label now, and set the initial value of this to zeros. And the reason that there's 4 zeros here is it's one for each player. So player 1 can have an item assigned separate from 2, 3, and 4. And then this is the scope. So hook in routine that grants players control after 3, 2, 1 go, runs for each player plus port, allows us to add a custom item as soon as the player begins match. So I might even be able to hook into this fucking address. Runs for each player plus port. So that's very interesting. But the reason that the player is relevant here is because there's a function called create and assign item right here. That's not where it's defined. Where is it defined? Create and assign item right here. Creates and assigns item to a player. Does not work with hammers. I don't know why it says that, because it does work with hammers, I'm pretty sure. But here's the instruction set for this. So create and assign an item will go through, and it will set up all these registers, skip item spawn graphics, right? There's a flag for that, right? And then what ultimately...
Where's skip? Okay, I see it.
So ultimately, this gets things set up to run a native code, a native function, which is jump and link at this address, right? How the fuck did they find this address? I'm not entirely sure, but if we go to the decompiled game and we search for this address, we'll find it in the C file. So this basically, how they were able to do this is they took the bytecode, the machine code, and they reverse compiled it. They decompiled it all the way up to C, which is a pretty high level language because you get structs, easier access to pointers, stuff like that. So part of that process says, okay, at this address in memory is this function. And this function is ultimately what gets run to have an item spawn. And all these arguments, see in C there's arguments like this, in assembly there's not. You have to set up you have to set up the registers to be able to have all of these parameters. So if you were to compile the C code down to assembly, you'd see the opcode that would look like similar to this, where it's setting up the registers to have these parameters, right? Because all parameters are these registers or locations in memory that values exist, that routines and other parts of the program can look at and say, oh, here's what's set at this time, execute this. So from the assembly side, they're able to set everything up so that when this function runs, it has all of the items ready to go. And see, like T1 is a register, A2 is a register, A3, T3, setting a value to the 10-bit offset here to whatever address is being held here. It's very fascinating, and I know very little about it, but this was the aha moment for me this morning. Was this right here, and then finding it to this function. Right? So ultimately, we need to do something similar here. Now, what we can do is we can omit this line here because we want the item spawn graphics to actually render, right? If we go back to our code here, the reason that is set up is because when the code executes, the little animation of it spawning and showing the item and it spawning somewhere different, none of that gets executed, right? If you look somewhere else, the coordinates for where the item gets spawned location of coordinates, use player position. So it figures that out. There's a player struct that includes the coordinates that are constantly updated when the player is moving, and it just says it spawn it directly on that player, and then there's
what
a
language
pickup procedure that runs.
is NetPlay C?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I imagine it's in C. C is a lot easier to work with than assembly. So I imagine if they've gotten to the point where it's a plugin in the emulator where they can, you know what I mean, they can hook into the game state and basically have that run over the network. It's the same thing that Xband did, to the best of my knowledge. Okay. And the two frame delay is really, really interesting because that's what Xband said that was their minimum latency. And if you go further away, it's 4 frames. Right? There's going to be a certain direct correlation between latency and frame delays in the game. And I guess what that's doing is the game's running at 60 frames per second, I think, in this version. Right? I think it ran for 30 frames per second on the console. I think this version of it runs at 60 frames. It's why it's a lot more smooth and stuff like that. So it's running 60 frames a second. So there's that many comparisons that it has to do per second, not only with your game state, but with everybody else's game state that's
Is there
on NetPlay, and everybody agrees.
Or a debugger for NetPlay?
I don't know how the NetPlay shit works. I only have a theory in my mind of how that works. I'm sure the source code for Project 64, the version that has NetPlay on it, is available, and you can look at it and see how it works and reverse engineer it, just like we're reverse engineering the ROM itself. But what I have a feeling is that it's comparing the state of the program constantly, and it's comparing it, saying a change happened here, send that change to this person has a change, apply the change that we just got, and then we're going to go ahead and send them this change, and it's just constantly happening. So I think it's going to detect that when the state changes, when the process changes, whatever change needs to be sent over the wire. Same thing of you entering your joystick or whatever, that ultimately changing memory, and then the NetPlay adapter, the NetPlay mechanism, detecting that and carrying out the instructions to be able to populate what just happened on your console on mine, and or vice versa, right? So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen, because this game, even Smash Remix, was not made with the intent of playing over a network, right? So
but
what they're
does
doing is they're
pretty
getting
fucking well, all things considered.
It does extremely well, as far as I can tell. Extremely well, and they're so fucking creative. They just said, we're going to compare, we're going to constantly be trying to consolidate emulator state across the network. I think that's how it works. Because there's no host. We all connect
let's
to each
see.
other.
Let's fire up a server, and let's see if you can change it on your end if it changes in a game over NetPlay.
Well, I got to figure out how I can write an address to memory for that program outside of Project 64, because this version doesn't have NetPlay, and the version that has NetPlay doesn't have the debugger.
So we don't know if the address you found is going to work on the emulator that doesn't have the debugger.
No, I mean, in theory, no. I mean, it should be the same address because it's a virtual address that gets assigned at compilation.
Let's try it.
Well, I got to figure out how to write to memory in Python or something for this program at that address with that value, and see if it actually updates. I've never done that. I don't even know what that's involved, like what that entails. Do you see what I'm saying? But if we can get that working, that is extremely straightforward on how to get some sort of interaction through a webhook or whatever with channel points to get that to execute. If we can have it set up to where we know what memory that we need to look at, because another thing that we need to do is before we, let's say we get it working in Python, right? And we say, okay, the Smash Remix window, we're able to target that, and we can write 2 virtual address memory spaces for that application in Python, and it works, right? If we can do that, then okay, there's no reason that we can't read from memory for that application as well. And then we either need to see if there's existing, which there probably is for this, to see if there is existing locations in memory that are being written to that show the proper game state, right? And what I'm getting at is, let's say we're not playing Super Smash and someone reveals that or redeems that. What would be nice is before we actually conducted the transaction, we checked to see if that can carry out. And in order to do that, we got to see, is Smash Remix running? What addresses are set up to indicate that there's a verse match going on right now, right? Because we're actually going to be writing some memory on a separate program, and we need to make sure that the program is in the proper state to be able to support that memory chain from being made, 'cause it could crash the emulator otherwise.
Is it gonna have to? Is the emulator gonna have to run in a separate program or run its information through something? Like, are you gonna have to intercept it with Python? Is what you're saying?
So
Before it gets to NetPlay?
no, I think how it's gonna work, because if we were to load up Smash Remix right now together on NetPlay, and I were to enable the taunt, we've already proved it with Daisy the other night, right? We already proved that works.
Yeah.
So how does that work? I mean, is there a NetPlay adapter written specifically for that? I don't think so. Not that I can tell. Right? That would be too intricate to like always be like, oh, I've got to write a NetPlay adapter for this. So I think the approach that they took that's more universal is constantly comparing emulator state amongst all peers and constantly updating and sending emulator state across all the peers. And then it's the NetPlay like program is set up to send and receive those as needed to create an online experience. And in the process of doing that, as long as the latency is the minimum amount, right, it will have at least a 2-frame delay. That's just what they've factored into the round robin process of constantly updating everybody's emulator state.
So are you gonna modify Project 64
No.
itself?
No. I'm gonna have to well, there's still a possibility that I don't have to write a ROM hack and make this still work. Right? Like if there's something like this taunt mechanism, right, where basically I'm able to manipulate that by changing the memory directly. If there's something already in the ROM that can allow me to arrange memory addresses in such a way that would, under certain circumstances, allow the item to spawn, then we won't need a ROM hack. But the ROM hack, what it's doing is it's exposing a function that will eventually lead to an item being spawned. It's not just shifting memory values a certain way. Right, there's actual CPU instruction that has to be done, and this is like bridging that gap so that under certain circumstances, you know, the approach that I'm thinking of so far is that I inject my routine that is a part of the game loop when you're in a versus mode match, and
how do you
what
do
that
that?
routine I'm still figuring that out. Well, just like how create or well, that's not a good one. The taunt spawn item, this OS patch start, OS patch end is the key of getting, you know, like a hook into the game itself, right? So you just have to know at what place in the program can you have your hook go into that A, will not break anything in the interim, and B, will have the environment set up for you so that your routine can then run as you need it to. So there's going to be a way to go about that to figure out what's going to be a place in the program that will work. Just like they figured this out. They figured out that whatever instructions run when you press the taunt button, or when taunt is invoked in the program, it's run at this address. The instructions are at this address. And so it says, okay, we're going to get right at that, and we're going to say when this is pressed, we're going to jump and link to our own instruction set, and then return to the rest of the return the.
What does the
process.
C look like for taunt spawn item,
I don't know.
or the
I do
OS
not
patch? What's the would you know where to find the OS patch start in the
All it
decompiled
does is it
file?
writes to the it's in OS. So OS is this custom scope that they set up here, and then there is a start or patch start. Here you go. It's a macro which takes the origin and the base address, and all it does is this, right? And then it's basically allowing you to hook into the original location of the memory and run instructions. That's like the pattern that they've developed in order for a lot of these ROM hacks to be able to work, right? Because if you don't have to rewrite code, it's going to be a lot easier to, number one, make the ROM hack work, and number two, it's going to take a lot less effort, right? So that's just the pattern that I've immediately seen that they do, is they use these two macros to be able to hook in for their instructions to run. And because they have a successful decompilation of the original game, they're able to find where everything is written, where every native instruction and memory address is located, and what goes there.
So would the patch be another file in the directory?
It would be a custom ROM. So whenever I run the patch bat program, it's a Windows batch file. It basically runs the programs needed to compile all of the assembly together and spit out a ROM from the original ROM. So you need the original ROM. It takes that, and then it says, okay, we're going to load all of this custom assembly into this ROM, and then the end result of that is going to be Super Smash 64, which is a modified version of the original. That
Remix is a patched ROM, right?
Remix is all of this code, and if you run their program and combine it with the original ROM, you get Smash Remix, right? So when I modify any assembly file and run the patch bat file, it will take all of the assembly and add it to the original ROM and spit out what's left over, which is all of the game state changed and everything like that. So it would just be, you'd have to use the new Smash Remix patch. You'd have to repatch your ROM to get these changes, right? So what I'll do once I get this dialed in is I'll submit a pull request to the Smash Remix repo so that anybody can use it, right? And then until it gets merged, or if it gets merged, we'll just use my fork of Smash Remix to patch all of our ROMs, right? Because only the people that have the patched, my same version of the patched ROM will have this functionality there, and that's how it will work. So if we can basically either figure out how to, the way that things are now, change memory, because we can't execute CPU instructions for an application, right? But we can change memory. We can change memory if we have the same permissions as the application that's using that memory table or that memory pool or whatever you want to call it, right? So if we can set it up so that, okay, we set up a server with whatever, and whenever a request comes in, we get the instructions ready to go. We say, okay, it's going to be this item at this coordinates. Write these in hexadecimal format to this or these addresses in memory, which is emulating what a Game Shark would do, right? But it's doing it based on the trigger of whatever we want over the network. And then if we've reverse engineered whatever memory needs to be manipulated, it should trigger our item to spawn. Or we intentionally create a routine.
Game Shark open source?
Oh, geez. They're like firmware and stuff?
I guess, yeah.
So Game Shark originally was for the Nintendo 64 console. Right. And it did...
What do we use for the emulator? Is that a hacked version of Game Shark?
It might not even be like any original Game Shark code. It's just called Game Shark because Game Shark was the most, the first popular version of anything to manipulate memory on the N64 console.
Specifically, the one that's used on the emulator, is that open source? Is there...
I don't know, but I don't think that I think that's not the right thing to look into, because the theory of it is it's able to write specific values to specific addresses in memory. That's all it does. Right? What the Game Shark did was it had
And how does it do it?
preloaded instructions. Well, it uses the Project 64 has, as a part of Project 64. Oh wait, does the other one have a Game Shark?
No, I don't think the one that can't run NetPlay is the only one that has Game Shark.
Oh, if it has Game Shark, then this should work.
But it doesn't have NetPlay.
No. The version that has NetPlay has Game Shark, right? Is that what you're saying, or
No. Incorrect.
Well, then yeah, that won't work.
Yeah, you can have one or the other. So how is Game Shark doing it? Because you are going to have to emulate essentially what Game Shark
All
is
it's doing, it's carrying out instructions, probably in assembly.
But is Game Shark a plugin? Is it a patch? Or what is it?
It's a mechanism for being able to manipulate Nintendo 64 system memory.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason it's called Game Shark is because that's what the physical product was called in the 90s when the Nintendo 64 came out, and it had a chip on it which was loaded with the Game Shark.
Yeah, I understand. I understand all that.
Well, then why are you asking the same fucking question?
Because you're not answering the question.
I am answering.
How is the Game Shark for the emulator that works? Is it a patch? Is it a plugin? Is it how?
It's
how
built
did they
into
add
the emulator. They've exposed functionality directly in the emulator to manipulate memory.
Okay.
And they refer to it as Game Shark because that's what Game Shark
And what does
did.
that look like? Yeah.
It looks like exactly what I just showed you. You fuck. You've seen me do it. You've seen me look, cheats. Bad on time. You were watching me do this. Fuck me. All it is taking this address and writing this value to it. That's all it's doing. And you can do
how are they doing? How are they doing all of that? Can you see the?
Why does that? Why do you need to know how things get written to memory?
Because I want to understand how it works.
I don't know. You have to look. You have to look, dude. I don't know. I don't need to know the specific functionality of how this works because I have confidence that it's doing what it says that it's doing, which is writing any value you want to specific addresses in memory, which is manipulating shit like this, like with how all of this stuff works. You know what I mean? The means and how it does. But you're telling me I don't need to know that. You're
telling me that you don't know how to do it though.
How to do what? How to write to memory? I don't know how to do it outside of the emulator or outside of Game Shark because this is set up in the application right here. But to be able to write to an address in memory for a specific application's namespace, you can look that up. That's completely agnostic of anything Super Smash or Nintendo 64 related. It's a computer science theory. You know what I mean? An application has a memory space that it can write to, and if you have the same permissions as that application, you can write to its memory space. That's what Cheat Engine is. Cheat Engine is the same thing.
Then do it right now.
I guess we could do it with Cheat Engine. Yeah, I didn't think about that. We could do it with Cheat Engine. So
what is Cheat Engine?
Cheat Engine is like Game Shark, except for it does a little bit more. It's a memory manipulation tool. That's all it is.
And do you have to download an emulator that already has it built in, or what is it?
Cheat Engine is a way to bind to an application and manipulate and view its memory space.
Okay.
Okay. So open process. It's asking me of the processes that are open, which one do you want me to
intercept?
Bind to intercept? Yeah. Okay. So I just added that.
Okay.
So let's go. We know from here we can go memory search. Does it still have it? Okay. So this address in memory is what we want to find in Cheat Engine. So let's see. Oh, add address manually. Oh, address. This description is taunt spawn item. It's gonna be 8 bytes, hexadecimal. It's not a pointer. Value. How do I get the value? 527. I don't think this matters. Let's see if it needs to.
Tired of the sickness, dude.
I'm so tired of it too, yeah.
So let's fire up a server. Run
Well,
it through.
Let's
run
get this working. Let's get this working in
with Cheat Engine first.
Oh, it's hexadecimal. It's not signed. I don't think. Yeah, with Cheat Engine, if we can get this working in Cheat Engine, then we can try it with NetPlay and just see what happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Change type. Why am I not getting a value here?
Does the value type have to get changed? Or is 4 bytes the right?
Correct. Well, it says int
It's not
8, which
8?
I think is 8 bytes. But it's not giving me any value.
It's not showing any of the values.
It's not written in memory, according to Cheat Engine. So I've got to be fucking something up in Cheat Engine here. So if you can figure out, you can find out what accesses this address. You can find out what instruction manipulated this, and then you could say, okay, this instruction manipulated. Here's the address for the instruction that's manipulating this memory item. That could be helpful, and that's most likely what I'm going to have to do to figure out where my hook needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I ask you questions without you getting upset at me.
When do I get upset with you?
I mean, it seems like a lot, but that's not the question. Sometimes when I ask you questions, like especially in like when it relates to like computer science and programming and stuff like that, there's like a frustration, and Kenna does it too, where I just get like shut down when it's like it seems to me like the question I'm asking is simple, like it has an answer. I just don't understand why that happens.
Why? What happens?
Like when I was asking you about GameShark and Cheat Engine, and like it just seems as though like as soon as you're like, oh no, like that's yeah, let's do that. It's like there's like a blocker there.
You were saying you wanted to find the source code to GameShark, and I'm like, well, I don't. You were
No, I
asking me
wanted.
questions
So I
that I
just
didn't
I
know.
wanted to I wanted to understand. I wanted to understand how does it you know is it intercepted? Is it how does that mechanism work? Because
Dude, I can't
it
tell
sounds
you. I
like
can't tell you what I don't know. I don't like what exactly are you asking? How does something change something in memory that deals with computer science like theory that I'm not equipped to like adequately answer, I don't think. And I think that should tell you that if we're able to accomplish
but then you
anything, we don't need that theory.
but then you're able to answer my question by saying, "Oh, I can use cheat engine because it cheat engine itself is how it is able to take
No,
all the shit."
cheat engine is just one way to manipulate memory.
Great.
Game Shark is another way. Game Shark is it's not like a thing. It's not like Game Shark is a program
Game Shark
specifically. Game Shark
Game Shark won't
was a
work on the one with NetPlay. Cheat engine will.
because Cheat Engine is completely agnostic of any other program.
And that was my question is it within the program or is it outside of it? The answer is that cheat engine is outside of it.
Cheat Engine is completely agnostic of Project 64, correct? But that has nothing to do with Game Shark, though. That's what I was trying to tell you. Is that Game Shark? It's not like we have to get it working with something called Game Shark. Game Shark was just a popular thing that figured out
Yeah,
that you could manipulate memory.
I get that.
Cheat Engine is
I
another
get that.
version of Game Shark.
All I was asking was like, and the question's already answered. I just wonder why this happens quite a bit.
That I don't
And
know
I guess
what
it's
to tell you, or
it's
what.
I guess it's you don't understand the question I'm asking, and this is why I ask it. Like I guess it seems like I'm asking the same question, but I tried to reword it to see if like, oh, maybe it's like a rephrasing that needs to happen. Because the type of answer that he's giving me is
I
not the
think it would
type of
be
answer
helpful
I'm
if you
looking
would tell
for.
me what it is that you're trying to like get out of the answer. Right? If you said, well, is there open source for Game Shark so that we can figure out how to write to memory like Game Shark could, I could say we don't need to do that. We could just use Cheat Engine. There's already a program written for that. But if we're gonna, that's just for like experimental purposes.
And that was the conclusion that we came to. It just like there's a difficulty that seemed to happen there. And I'm not saying it's like your fault and you need to change. I'm saying like how do I, I just want to get the fucking question answered. So is there a better way for me to do that?
Yeah, I think if you tell, like I just said, if you tell me what it is that you're trying to get out of the answer, I think that would help me. Because you thought in your thinking, in your line of questioning, you were thinking if we go down the route of trying to figure out how Game Shark does this thing, we can emulate that through other means. So if you were to say
Which
that,
we could.
if you were to say
Which
that,
we
or
could
anything close to
through
that,
Cheat Engine.
well, no, that has nothing to do with Game Shark. You're still not getting it. I don't think you understand.
Then you're still not understanding my question. My question was how does Game Shark do it? Because in my understanding, nothing
Game
else
Shark did it
exists. It's either
completely.
Game Shark or nothing.
No.
But no, there
Game
is
Shark,
there is something. There is
forget
something
about
totally
Game
outside of
Shark.
it.
Forget about Game Shark.
Fucking no shit. Forget about Game Shark.
Forget about Game Shark.
No shit. Forget about
What
fucking
it actually
Game Shark.
is some sort of mechanism to give a human control over the memory outside of the program in the way that it was intended to run. That's all that we need to do. And there's multiple means for us to do that.
But that was put
particularly with it
into
being
the program
in
itself.
an emulator.
Because that mechanism only works in that emulator. Right?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, that mechanism only works within Project 64, which are the original Project 64, I believe, because the Game Shark one does not work for the one that has NetPlay. So
Okay.
that's a specific mechanism. That's a specific tool. You can't use that tool for other things. So
Okay.
where I was coming from is, in my mind, that's the only tool that exists. Does that mean that we have to create a new tool? Was my assumption. And then we came to the conclusion. What?
Let me whip out MS Paint. We'll get this fucking figured out.
The conclusion we came to is that no, there are other tools that are already implemented that we can use. We don't have to make our own tool. So I think like that's an important thing for you to understand about like how I think, because it's what you've seen it happen in other stuff, and it's why you say that you think that I would excel at programming. It's because in other things that's how I have to do it. Does a tool already exist for this? If it doesn't, can I make a tool that does what I need it to do? Does that process make sense to you?
I guess, yeah.
You don't care. What are you painting here?
Trying to get this set up.
Let me clarify. I understand what's going on now, and it seems as though Cheat Engine is the next thing we need to pursue.
To see if it would work over NetPlay. But again, we're kind of straying from the original goal, which is to have an item spawn, not immediately assigned to somebody, but an item spawn on the game.
But if we can,
map.
but if we can get this working, then we can mess around with a lot of other stuff. And because the path to figuring out how we can spawn an item in, that path is a lot further from us completing it than this right here, because a lot of the tools have already been built.
Mm-hmm.
We can just kind of slightly alter a lot of the tools that are already built and get a very similar outcome, and I'm okay with that. I think you'd be okay with that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It would be better if it could just spawn out of the air and anybody could get it. But if it's something that we can utilize right now, I think that deserves the attention. So the problem we're having now is that we can't get any values in Cheat Engine.
Yeah, and it's because we have to set it up so that the address that we give it is within the range of memory for this specific application, since we're not, directly.
And where do you set that?
I don't know. I've never done that before, so I'm researching right now.
Okay. I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna take a piss.
Oh, it's 1 byte. Okay, so that. Okay. Fuck, man. So tired of it.
All right.
I think
You figure it out.
maybe I didn't have the ah shit. I think it's a so you need the proper permissions. And I think I need to run this as administrator so that I have all the permissions maybe.
You need to run Cheat Engine as administrator.
Correct. So that it has the proper
That would make sense. Yeah, that would make
right,
sense.
so that it has the proper permissions to access another program's memory.
Cool stuff, dude.
So cool, yeah.
I wish I wish I got it. I wish I knew more and I could contribute more, dude.
Yeah, me too.
Am I contributing anything?
Yeah, we're hanging out, aren't we? I mean, that's we're talking
Oh,
about
fuck,
it. We're,
alright.
we're spitballing. We're fucking. Oh, I need to fucking set the process. Protect read only. Fuck me.
Oh, what was that?
Oh,
What was that like? Were they encrypted or did you actually get the values?
I'm getting values now, but I can only read. It says the mode is read only. But I'm not getting.
What are you doing?
Just doing research on this. I'd like to try it in NetPlay because, you know, I've got you on the call and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hang on. What if I did this? Okay. I may have figured it out.
So how do you give yourself permissions?
What do you mean permissions?
Wasn't that the issue?
Oh, wait, what the fuck? Yes, that was part of the issue, I believe. Hang on, let me see if I can get this fucking going first, and then I'll show you. And then we'll fire up a fucking thing, alright?
All right.
3 aux 4, what the fuck? Oh, it keeps writing it back to 3, so it is working. Nice. Alright, so basically, can you see my screen here?
Yeah.
Alright, so the address is going to be different because this is... The address in this is relative to the offset in the computer's memory space where the N64 is. So it's not going to be the same address. So what I did was I reverse engineered it by searching through the values that changed in accordance to what I changed over here, right?
Okay.
So that brought me to this address. So you see how this says hex 4? This says hex 4 here, or it just says 4, but it's actually hex 4. So if I go here, change value to 5, watch this right here. You get it?
I haven't seen it yet. Okay, I just saw it.
Oh my god, it's hella delayed.
Yeah.
So now it's 5, which should be... Let's see here. 5, which should be a ray gun. Bingo. Okay, now in Cheat Engine, now let's change it to change record value to 6, which should be a fire flower.
You just got through again.
Dude, you gotta refresh. Let me know when you refresh, because that's like way behind. Let me know
Still
when you're
shooting with the ray gun.
Let me know. All right, you're refreshed.
You still shoot. You just shot him off with the ray gun.
All right. So I basically
You just pulled out a fire flower
Okay, and how did I pull out a fire flower?
using your taunt button.
How did that? But that how did that work though? Like how was it a fire flower this time and it wasn't a fucking ray gun again?
Well, because you changed the value
In where?
in Game Shark.
No.
Or not Game Shark, in Cheat Engine.
Cheat Engine, yes. Yes. So,
Okay.
Bob.
So that means that it should work.
Right. So we can use the same process. Ready? So let's do that. Let's go. Let's open up. Let's close Project 64. Let's get Let's get NetPlay going. Okay.
Do you want to try hosting the server yourself first?
Yeah, I don't think it'll matter. Run as administrator. Yes, remix. Yeah. No, fuck. I was supposed to start NetPlay. Fuck, I've done that so many times. All right, run. File. Start NetPlay. Johnny, Smash 64 servers.
Hmm.
Will Sanfran, our boy. Okay, Sacred, our Stuffed Muffs in there. Let's see. I just created one.
Loading in.
Starting. All right. So now we won't have the debugger. Oh, it does have Game Shark codes.
What does? Cheat Engine does?
Yeah, no. This Project 64. Let's try to do it in
Okay.
Cheat Engine though, since I don't remember the
Yeah.
address.
Make sure you turn items on.
No. That doesn't matter. Because they're not spawning in
Are
the
you
game.
sure? Okay.
Yes, I'm sure. Okay, so now
Okay. We're gonna have to set it to something, right?
Okay. Yeah, we'll find your address first. Oh, dude, I'm scared. I don't know if this is gonna work, bro. I don't know if this is gonna work, Bob. Open process. Smash 64. No. Okay, so set it to... Okay, you have it set to fan, which is hex 3. So new scan, or first scan. Okay, hex 3, increment it by 1. Star Rod, which should be hex 4. Excellent. Okay, now one more. We're down to 54. Ray gun, which should be hex 5. Yep.
Okay.
Right, I think I found it.
All right, change it.
Oh my god, Bob. I'm fucking freaking out. Fuck, I changed it. Alright, change it again.
Now Fireflower.
7. Oh wait, does it say, what does it say on yours?
It says Fireflower on mine.
Mine says hammer.
So it changed it on your end, it didn't change it on mine. So just see if you can still change it on yours. In game.
Hex 1. Oops, new scan. First scan, hex 1. Alright, change it to 2. Okay, 69, change it to 3. Got it.
Okay. So let's just load into a match and see if you can change yours, and it actually loads into what we both can see.
All right. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna work. Just kidding. I do think it's gonna work.
Oh, I'm invisible.
Oh,
Fuck.
You changed it. You changed it.
Well, that shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter. Just
It shouldn't matter, but just fix it. Just fix it.
okay.
Just fucking fix it, Bob. There you go. Fucking A, you fucking clown. All right, what does yours say now? Hang on. Oh shit, I fucked up. Never mind.
That's all right. Just load. Just change your
Let's
comment.
see if yours should be a hammer. Okay, on my screen it's a hammer.
It's not a hammer on mine.
All right.
So
Is mine a fan
You have
for
a
you?
fan. Yeah, you have a fan.
All right. So how did yours get? Yours got.
So change yours.
All right. I'll change mine. I'll change mine to a hammer. Did you just die?
No.
Oh, we're desynced to fuck, bud.
Okay.
Here, let me
So
just change. Let me just change mine. Here, drop. Go ahead and drop. This is high science, bud.
you want me to drop out of the server?
Yeah, yeah. Let's restart it.
It's gonna crash
Why is it gonna crash?
every time I drop before it's crashed. Yeah.
Oh, mine crashed for sure. I had to restart it. Starting.
Um,
Okay, start. Burst mode. Stock 2. No, don't change anything. Don't change anything. Well, no, fuck. I have to find it.
So we're looking for yours.
Either one doesn't matter.
All right, we're looking for yours.
Hang on, let me see
All
if
right.
this works. Hang on, let me see if it's the same. Oh, dude, it might be the same. Yeah.
It
change
should be the same.
Change it. Yeah, it's the same. All right, now yours is 0. Change yours now. Beam sword. Yep, I got it. It's the same. All right, so
Good.
let's spawn in. Let's spawn in. We both have bats.
Okay.
Did you have a bat?
Throw it and change it.
All right. I'm changing mine to a. It's 3 fan.
We're desynced. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm just lagged. Nope, you have a bat on mine.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So it's because we have to hook into like the main game's like routine or something to make it work with NetPlay.
Do a smash swing on me. But, like right against me. Okay, it just home run me.
Wow, way desynced. Okay. So it doesn't monitor memory. It's got to go a part of like the game routine. It hooks into the game's routine. It doesn't actually like update. There's going to be a procedure that's going to be called to like push it to the NetPlay stack or something.
Right. Because it seems like you're editing it after NetPlay's already changed it.
Well,
Like you're editing the part that NetPlay has changed.
What is happening is I'm editing it in memory. The emulator's reading the memory, but NetPlay, whatever mechanism in NetPlay that triggers to update your emulator state, isn't getting run by just manipulating the memory.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's fire off Attorney though.
Okay.
I would consider.
Are we doing it? Go ahead.
I would consider this progress.
Crashed on my end.
Yeah, we're gonna have to restart it for sure.
You want to do a 12-man or a tourney?
We can do 12 man. 12 man's fun. We can only do that with just you and I.
Have you started a new server yet?
Negative. Still launching the bitch.
I'll create one.
I'm almost home. Wait for me, she says. You better not be watching the stream and driving, you fucking nutcase.
Oh, she absolutely is, dude. What's the status?
I'm just typing in the Discord. Give me 1 second. Okay, that's interesting. Doesn't really surprise me. It doesn't really surprise me, but it leaves an open end. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have to get that figured out too. But I would consider all of what I got done today progress still, even though we don't have exactly what we wanted. You know what I mean?
No, I'd say it's quite a bit.
Yeah, I would
It's
too,
definitely
right?
a lot more than last time I talked to you.
We couldn't get fucking anything working, I feel.
Yeah, we didn't know
Now
we didn't know what was where.
No, I still really don't. But at least now we're able to do something that's not immediately obvious in the game, outside of the game, right? And have it change something in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty major. Like, this is the kind of shit that Dad would discourage us from, like, doing or whatever. Like, if we came up with the idea for it. If he had any remote interest in it, he'd say, oh, little buddy, there's no way you could ever get that done. There's no way you could ever figure that out. That's too complicated. It's too complex.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's the same thing with, like, trying to figure out the mini splits or making your own reclaim machine or making a freeze dryer or doing any of that shit.
Or just buying a fucking an additional cell because you don't know what the fuck you're doing with your battery bank and you've got it outside and shit.
Little buddy, how do you run your system without a BMS? Well, first of all, Dad, my system's fucking inside. I know that might not be like his problem, like what's causing him issues, but like it is a problem.
That's 100% a problem. Dude, don't tell me it's not a problem. With snow and sleet and fucking all that shit, you gotta be fucking pissing me. You gotta be pissing my pants. He's got a perfectly good fucking shed, not 10 feet away from where the fuck it is under his deck. It's like, dude, dig yourself a little fucking trench or put a fucking rug over the fucking cords or whatever and put that shit in the damn shed.
Yeah.
Daisy just got home, by the way.
Okay.
So I mean, we're not gonna be able to finish this. Wait, did you just re-roll the random, you cuck?
No, it was on default. It got
way better. All right, you promise?
Yeah.
Dude, we're starting to get deep into this shit. I feel, or at least I am. I don't know.
Oh
if
yeah.
You, like have an interest in doing this, but
Oh my god, dude.
What? Oh my god, what?
I was just saying that like it's cool and that I wish I could contribute more. You go
Then
and
why
say some
don't
shit,
you?
some
Why
dumb,
don't you?
dumb shit like that. I'm contributing as much as I can.
But why don't you like look
I'm
into the
ju-
shit that I'm looking into?
Because I don't have time for it. You want me to do it right now instead of playing Super Smash?
It's all good. Make me feel bad about all the time I'm wasting on this.
You're not wasting time on it, dude. You're able to do a lot more with it than what I'm able to, and you're able to get a lot more out of it than what I can.
Well, we're closer to having it working locally with that. You know what I mean? Obviously,
Yeah.
we're going to have to get NetPlay going for sure. Like, of course, we're going to have to get that going. But
Yeah.
the fact that it's able to synchronize everything else is fine. That's fine. You know what I mean? We know that the mechanism for it is there. It's just we just got to figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? See, that's the thing I wish Dad would do. Be like, okay, see stuff. And that's what he did when he was younger.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be like, oh, building a fucking house. Or what? Not building a house, but like doing a bathroom remodel. I could be like, Dad, that's just too much. There's just too much going on there. Don't even like attempt to take that on.
Yeah.
Right? And he wasn't born with the knowledge. Dotson. He wasn't born with the knowledge to do bathroom remodels, right? So he said, okay, I've seen someone take a hideous fucking bathroom and turn it into a dope ass looking bathroom. So I know it's possible. So I'm gonna reverse engineer it and figure out how to do it. Thank you, sweetie. I'm gonna reverse engineer it and figure out how to do it, and I'm just gonna do it. And he did for a little bit, in a small amount of ways. You know what I mean? But he let other shit get in the way. But I wish like he would, you know, like MAME. He got MAME going in fucking like 1997 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like crazy. Yeah. It's like there was no documentation. There was just like message boards, and that's it. Right? Yeah. And he would give up. He'd give up, like, oh, you know, the sound doesn't work. It's like, okay, well, we can still use it. But like the equivalent of what that was to figure out back then, he wouldn't do now because it's just too intimidating to him. Yeah. And it's because he's reinforced that idea that I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like, well, you obviously could. You know what I mean? Look at what he's able to do with his power and shit. He's able to figure it out when he wants to. He gets the minimum amount working, and he goes, "That's it. I was so uncomfortable in my head or whatever it was.
This is further than I thought I was gonna go, so I'm gonna stop now.
I'm gonna stop, and I'm just gonna absolutely fucking wring out every last little bit of use that I can get from that minimum amount of effort that I put in, instead of saying, okay, I got something accomplished, but I need to get more accomplished."
Yeah.
That's his whole downfall right there. I got something accomplished, you know what I mean? But I didn't get the whole thing accomplished. So I'm going to go on to the next thing and get something accomplished and then move on to the next thing instead of seeing something through.
It's like he got enough. I got enough out of that.
I got enough. Yeah. It's like, oh, I built a deck. Okay, well, we got the deck now. Even though it's not like sealed or like really weatherproofed or anything like that. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, I've got an inverter and fucking batteries and a charge controller. Throw them bitches under, you know, a fucking tarp. Hey, they're working. Yeah. They're working. Leave it. Don't fucking do any more things to make it better.
Yeah.
And then he fucking bitches and complains when the shit breaks and stuff. It's like, Dad, I really am sorry, but like, fuck, it's avoidable. It is so avoidable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll use one of my 3 Luigis. You know it would be fucking funny.
What?
We figure out how to get like we figure out how to change because the character selection for the random thing is going to be like a similar process.
Yeah.
So we change the fucking like parameters and everything before that function gets called to have it give us a character set that's like ideal, but it looks like it's random.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be fucking funny. So much shit we'll be able to do. Smash Factory, dude. I think it's sick as fuck.
Yeah.
Because we'll be able to do other stuff too. Like they could give you fucking 30% all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like.
Mm-hmm. It can take you to 69%, whether that's up or down.
Yeah. There's so much. Oh, dude, what the fuck, bro? You fucking bitch. Like taking the mysticism out of like how games work and stuff is actually very fun.
Yeah. Well, that's another reason why I told you, like, I think if I were to stick with development, it would probably be something like game development.
Yeah.
The Raspberry Pi stuff, I think, would be another thing.
Yeah, the Raspberry Pi stuff is very fun. Fucking bitch. I don't have access to whatever channel you guys are in. Join the On Job Discord, Bob. Spoiled, baby.
Hi, baby.
Did you hear what I said?
What'd you say?
I said spoiled, baby.
Everyone said hi, by the way, and that they missed you.
Oh. Tell him I was too busy writing assembly.
No, I just said that you were asleep when I left, so.
Oh, okay.
No, I told him literally, like, I woke up at like 4 o'clock and you were still working, so I think you couldn't sleep, and you know, they understood.
I was actually up until 9:30.
Well, damn.
Yep.
I said I woke up and you were still working, and I was like I fell back asleep. So like, they know you were up longer than that.
So fucking funny, dude.
What?
The golden gun. All right.
Oh.
All right, Dizzy. Did you want to play or no?
Yeah.
All right, I dropped Bob.
Yep, me too.
No, but honestly, like, it was so nice because there was no drama, and like, I think part of it too was like we were outside the whole time instead of inside, so you know there's more space to kind of like spread out.
Yeah.
And I think it's because like we were kind of split into like 2 groups. So like I was at a table with Alyssa, my mom, Joy, Monica, and my grandma. And we were just like shooting the shit, and it like we were, well, there is stuff I gotta tell you, but it like we just talked about a lot of like funny stories. Like back in the day was good. But Sean was all excited to talk to me, and he said that he's really, really sorry that he hasn't gotten back to us. It's not that he means to like not get back to us, it's just he's been super, super busy. He literally leaves on Monday to go to Colorado for 2 weeks for a job. But he said that like he was looking at the picture, and he said that he doesn't think that a stick welder is gonna really do much. So he doesn't recommend doing that.
Oh, really?
He said that like you could probably weld it enough to get it like working, but it's gonna happen again in the same spot if you just do a stick weld.
Okay.
So he said like I know you guys probably need to get it done, but if you guys like can wait, or like after you guys do the stick weld, I'll still weld it. And he's like, what I'll do is I'll weld that part, and then I'll do welds like like diagonal from that, and it'll make it stronger so that it should never happen again.
Fuck yeah.
And he's like I have my work truck set up now, so like I'll just bring my work truck out. He's like, all the materials and shit are free. And I was like, well, I still want to pay you. And he's like, no,
Staff.
like why pay me? And he's like, no, you don't need to pay me. He's like, all the materials are free, all the shit's free. And I was like, well, at the very least, like I would like to. No, he's like, I won't get in trouble, I promise. And I'm like, okay. I at the very least, like I still feel like I need to pay for your time. Like even if we take you out to dinner or something.
Of course,
like I'm not gonna not do
we could take him, and
but...
we could take him. I mean, if he, you know, I that's very admirable, and I appreciate it. And if he,
I appreciate it too. And honestly, like, I just feel like he's like I'm getting teary eyed. Like I feel like he's just grown up so much, and it's like so nice.
He's a good dude.
You know,
he is. He is a good dude. Yeah.
Because there was a while there he was kind of a brat. You know.
Start the bitch, Bob.
But. No, it was like honestly the whole thing. Like I just feel so. Like it's nice.
Is he still with the same girl?
Fuck! I forgot to ask Alyssa when he walked away, because she wasn't there, and I don't know. Monica kind of made a comment. She's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't want him traveling because he's such a little hoe.
Oh my god.
Well, you know about the whole deal where that girl in Oklahoma like tried to like trap him, right?
Let's not air dirty laundry, all right?
I mean, I'm not really airing dirty laundry.
He's a good dude. What he does with his dick is his business.
Oh, well, I told.
Oh, Bob, yeah, are you there, Bob? Oh, he's deafened and shit. He must have. Oh. Something must have come up.
No, but we were talking about that. I mean, this happened a couple years ago. You were there for that. And she's like, that scared the shit out of me, da-da-da. And I was like, well, it probably scared the shit out of him too. And that's when she was like, nope, he's still a little hoe. And I was like, well, maybe he's a hoe that uses protection at least.
That's it. Just make sure you're fucking wrapping it up, dude.
We were all cracking up. It was so funny. It was good. I would kind of like, I don't know. Like I wish you were there because I missed you and I want to have a good time. But you probably wouldn't have had as much of a good time like talking about the shit we were talking about. And like it might have been a different vibe with you there, you know, because it was all the girls.
No, that's good, babe. Believe it or not, I was working all day.
Oh, sweet love. But I did miss you, baby.
Miss you too. We don't know what the fuck's going on with Bob.
Oh, but yeah, Alyssa, you know, she has all these health issues, but she just found out she has celiacs, so she's doing that, and she's hoping that will help her lose some weight too. But she's starting to hike, and I told her that if she wanted a hiking buddy, that I would go with her, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good. Crap, where did my chapstick go? Hang on, I'll be right back. But I will say, so there was drama with outside of our family.
Sweetie, just remember, I know no one's watching it and stuff, but it's still on the internet. Just be mindful of not.
No, I'm not going into any details. I'm just letting you know. I need to tell you something after.
Bob, are you good or what?
Yeah, I just deafened so I could watch the Matrix while she's giving you the update.
Oh, well, we're waiting on you to join the lobby.
Oh, I just created a lobby.
No,
waiting on you guys.
You're all fucked up.
It says that you parted. You timed out.
Yeah. Don't blame it on us, dude.
Do we need to go out again?
No.
Which one are you guys in?
Will's San Fran server, North America West.
There we go.
You crash?
Yeah, my shit's all fucked up.
Well, don't blame me. Don't blame us.
Yo, can you fucking
Oh,
show
you
some
left him.
respect?
Are we all leaving then?
No, I'm getting back in. It's hanging on fucking logging in. This is all fucked up here. I'm just gonna start the bitch over. Alright, I created a room. Starting.
Didn't start for me.
It didn't start for you?
No.
Oh my god. So you're not on the mode select screen?
I guess I am. Yeah. I guess my window is minimized or something.
So you're good or no?
I'm gonna full screen it. See.
I'm re-full screening.
Nope,
I
crashed
think
for me.
crashed. Mine crashed.
Come on, my boy. Come on. Inside. You guys crashed?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
restarting it right now.
Gosh,
Will
fucking
Sanfran
damn it.
is the lowest.
What happened?
Well, I gotta fucking restart mine
What's wrong?
now, too. Can you guys join mine? Let me see how fucked up this will be if I try to... Oh, never mind, it crashed anyway. Shit! Fucking piss.
What?
I just forgot to press net play. Alright. Status update on Daisy?
Sorry, it's still in the.
There she is.
Oh.
Starting.
Oh!
When it. What?
Whoa.
Okay.
Turn items on.
Ah. I don't think I've done this one.
Yeah, you have.
I don't think so. I've done one that's similar with the houses.
They can have different shit going on, I guess.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting.
Can you fucking make it so that your controller is not right by your mic, so I'm not just wanting to fucking rage against the machine?
Would you like me to do that?
Well, I'm not a fucking physicist, but I feel like if you moved your controller away from where the microphone is, it would immediately accommodate what I wanted.
Okay, but I'm like leaning on my desk, so like how there's really nowhere for me to do that to.
Alright, no worries.
And like be comfortable. Jeez, that freaking thing makes you go so high. I feel like my character's going really slow.
You're lagging us all out because you have a shitty connection.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah, but
the
it
worst
was-
it's ever been.
I was like, it hasn't been like this the other times that I've played.
That's the thing about latency, is that it's usually inconsistent.
I don't know about this, dude. This is like
Yeah.
almost
Are
unplayable.
you serious? My B up my own B up just keeps me off the screen. That's fucked.
Yeah, that will happen.
It's annoying. I was at 8%.
Wait,
8%.
What the fuck is going on? Hang on. Why is it so fucking bad?
It's really bad.
Like, this is unplayable. Oh god. Get it,
Sorry,
dude.
dude.
Get it. No, fuck them all, baby. I don't know if it's fucking my
This
computer.
poison
Like, what the
from
fuck is
inside
going
me.
on?
Is there shit you can close out that's maybe...
I mean, I don't think that's it. It seems to be only when we play with you. Because we were just playing and we did not have this issue. So, if it...
Yeah, but you played with me all the other times, and we
Daisy,
didn't have this
I'm
issue.
not going to argue with you about this, okay? I'm not going to argue with you about it. If it continues, it's probably something that you're going to have to address. Like I just said, we just played and we did not have this issue. Bob, would you concur?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Were you looking at the wrong character?
I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Oof.
Alright, Daisy, you got to get this figured out. Figure out your internet.
It shows I have all bars. Like, I don't know...
Well, let's test
What's
some
your
theory.
latency?
How can I see that? How can I see my
can't
latency?
Play like this. I can't play like this.
My ping is 28 and Bobby's is 32. So wouldn't that mean that it is maybe him?
The biggest thing that's leading me to believe that it's you is that this problem only seems to happen when we're playing with you. And the only thing that's consistent with that, again, is your proximity to the router and the fact that it only happens with you. We're having this pretty bad latency right now. So
I have Ethernet right into the router.
all right.
Or
But
to the bottom.
isn't that
I dropped. Bob
Isn't
and
that
I,
what the-
let's try to prove the theory here.
Okay. And it might be with 3 people.
It could be with 3 people.
Is that
could
what-
be, that could be another thing too? Yeah.
but is that what the ping is? Is the latency?
We don't know. I don't know how accurate that is. Because it's like always 31 to the server. And it's like, what are the chances that it's always exactly
What are the
31?
odds?
Like, I don't know. Maybe kind of high. Who knows?
You did say the thing with latency is it is consistent.
Inconsistent.
Oh, you said inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
He said inconsistent.
Okay.
All right, start it up, Bob. I wonder what lag stat and
All right.
lag reset does.
You in San Fran? Will San Fran?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you're in. Starting. Full screen.
Crashed. I think
You
full
crashed?
screen. Yeah, I think you full screen too early.
It's a premature full screening.
Maybe.
There it
Oh, now it
goes.
says 16 milliseconds to Will's. And then it says I'm 24, so who knows? Alright, I made one.
Okay. And Will San Fran?
Yep.
Okay.
Starting. Crashed. Alright, you try to host it.
Created.
Crashed. Hmm.
Did you create one?
Yep.
Okay.
Crashed again.
Why?
Don't know.
Is the cheat engine still running?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't know why Task Manager just absolutely fucking runs like shit. It kind of concerns me.
Yeah. All right, created one.
Crashed.
Fuck, buddy.
I guess I'll restart my computer.
All right.
My PC